we coming from the true space. We ain't entertaining neighbors, I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. What's good, everybody? My name's Open Book. It's my partner.
Hey guys, this is Hearth. Welcome back to Truspace.
And this is your weekly horoscope. So let's get into the energies. On Monday, July 18th, the sun is in Cancer, making a trine with Neptune in Pisces. How do you think this energy is going to hit us?
So we've been in Cancer season for a while, learning about our emotion, learning how to. Actually, I think Cancer season is all about learning about what triggers our emotion. That first emotion we give off from whatever irritated us. I think that's what Cancer season is really about. Learning how to direct that. So we'll learn what tweaks us and what does not tweaks us. So with the Sun and Cancer trining Neptune and Pisces, this will allow us to direct our dreams and illusions. Since the Moon was in Pisces, allowing us to reflect that energy, build our dreams, illusion, imagination, add more mysticism, faith, and things of that nature. So we could go towards and deal with these comfort-like issues, deal with our home, learn how to view our home, our private issues, our heart area from a much more spiritual perspective, learn how to loosen it up with immutable energy and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Especially in the later degrees of Pisces, Neptune and Pisces, and the Sun in Cancer. Like you can see a highly intuitive influence going on, connecting, probably allowing you to maybe even piece together, because Mercury's not too far from there too. Mercury had just met up with the Sun in Cancer, kind of helping you piece together, how you feel that first initial feeling, and peep you into the influences that had helped you get there, if you get what I mean. The subconscious influences that are maybe still a little hidden, that you are sleeping on. It's like that the Sun in Cancer is giving you that first peek. You open up a little bit vulnerably, and now you care about certain things. Now you're starting to understand these esoteric contracts. So you're like, oh, now it's giving you insight on, oh wait, all of those past esoteric contracts, and that's why I was feeling that way. And by now in Cancer season, and you're probably like, why do I care about that? That's probably a lot. That's what's in people's mind. It's like, well, why do all of a sudden I care about this? But I bet even in Gemini season, we was saying a whole bunch of shit, probably even literally writing shit down, signing a whole bunch of esoteric contracts that we are reflecting on and feeling, now in Cancer season. And then the Moon is going to be in Aries, conjuncting Jupiter in Aries. How do you think that's going to hit us on Monday?
So this is gonna give us another chance to bring in whatever we're building on, whatever we were passionate about, desiring, what we want to initiate when it comes to what we want to learn, expand, and Jupiter in Aries. So the Moon in Aries around is going to bring more passion, desires, remind us of our path of learning, what we want to go on. Because this is what the Moon does. Every time the Moon conjunct a planet as it goes through that Moon at the 360 wheel, it reminds you of that thing. So when it hits the south node, it reminds you of vulnerability. When it hits Uranus, it reminds you, oh, the ground is shaking. When it hits Jupiter, it reminds you, oh, I gotta go expand, learn more about whatever passion and desire that I give birth to, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the esoteric GPS. It's literally like a ping system. It's like the Moon's every so often it's going ping, 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 and whatever planet's there, it's like, oh shit, yeah, Jupiter's in that direction, so I'm correlating it with it in this way. Then it goes next, ping, and it's showing you what's in that area.
Yeah, and if you get very intuitive, you can even predict when the Moon switch signs, because you could feel it actually.
Man, you definitely feel it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all of those times that we don't notice. But yeah, when you if you start paying more attention to it, you start feeling like the moon. Maybe you even test that out.
Mm-hmm.
Try to test it out. You may just get start getting mad on one day, or more confrontative, more willing to have your own individual way of feeling about something.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That would just come easier.
Yeah, and the moon falls in Aries too, so watch out. You don't become too selfish because we're still in Cancer season. You gotta show care, so that's gonna be a little bit of challenge right there.
Good thing you have Jupiter there, making things
Mm.
light. Maybe you can laugh about it and tell them that it was for your spirit after, and you're really in that state of being. So it's like fuck, all right, we kind of have to allow him because he was trying to do it about spirituality. He was trying to do it.
That's a good idea. Jupiter does give Aries a light-hearted aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like the dreamer,
Mm-hmm.
where Aries has the vision and he dreams big. He's a visionary, He's talking about a new plateau and frontier, and then you maybe he can't can he do it or can he not? Who knows? But he tracks in a whole bunch of investors. They're like, I like this spark. I like this imagination. Yeah, you're right. This is big, Oh, we can all inflate and add air to this or
Mm-hmm.
add meaning to this. Oh shit, this is sick. And then sometimes you give it to Jupiter and Aries, and it's like nigga doesn't know how to do it, and doesn't know how to expand yet, or because it's just a spark.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Yeah. Oh.
So, and then the Moon in Aries is gonna be making a square with Venus in Cancer.
Oh.
Venus moving into Cancer now. How do you think this is gonna hit us?
So it's still in the cusp energy. So it's moving from mutable air, Venus still thinking about love from a very logical, analytical perspective, dualistic. But now it's moving to Cancer area. So it's getting a little bit more emotional. It's almost like you just started learning about this person, but now you want to connect with this person emotionally deep, or you want to bring him home,
Mm-hmm.
or you started as friends, but now you want to bring him home and things of that nature. So that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. It's just that the moon in
Mm-hmm.
Aries is it's falling there, so you might be a little bit too selfish. You maybe not realizing what's actually happening. You're not thinking about everybody around you, and then the square to Venus is getting more attention, making you more aggressive about your emotion, things of that nature. Definitely, a very cardinal energy right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's a hard for it to slip into that more introspective, personal type thing coming from Gemini moving into Cancer with the Moon and Aries being there.
Hmm.
Because you are trying to be more individualistic, but more in a vulnerable sense, not in a aggressive, active sense, more in a receptive sense. Since you already went through that energy with Venus and Gemini, and you already had tried ting, 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 But now, when you go and try other things, it's sour. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste like that other thing that you had tried or that you had um, indulged into before. Now you realize that you actually had cared about that, or that you had found something. Now you're reflecting on where your mind had went, and now you realize that you feel a certain way about a certain value or a certain person, relationship, place, or thing that you had started exchanging energy with. Now, with the moon in Aries, while you're going through that vulnerable thing, you're like, oh shit, I actually like that, or I don't like these other things. I want more of these mentality. I don't want just stimulation. I want a particular type of stimulation. But then Aries being not being so good with the moon, can make you more self-defensive than you needed to be, more aggressive with your emotions than you needed to be, or maybe even more standoffish, more protected, be like, no, I don't need that, I can be on my dolo or some shit like that, or forceful with your emotions instead of being open to that vulnerability.
Mm,
I
yeah.
can see that square playing out like that.
Hmm.
Mercury in Cancer is opposing Pluto in Capricorn. How do you think this is gonna hit?
So after our mind, our thoughts is catching up, allowing us to think about our home, domestic issues. uh, our mind is getting ready to confront Pluto, and I think Peace Deal and even he calls it Pluto integrity. So our mind, how we think, is really gonna go through a phase of making sure whatever we're gonna speak as we go from Cancer season into Leo season, we having integrity. We're not as soft. We're not as emotional. Our mind, our way of thinking, they have a certain structure to them. They're not just about home. They're ready to go eventually at some point to the winter season. So that's what Pluto wants you see the integrity of the way you think about home.
Facts, facts. And I see this being can also played out as a rude awakening for some people,
Mm.
at having not known that they don't have enough integrity. So now they're here talking about their emotions, not realizing nobody gives a fuck. They're like, oh shit, I was in my little echo chamber. I had my little clique that pandered to my emotions, and they were toxic too, and they didn't want to recognize their own toxicity, so they just pandered with my own toxicity, and we was just festering together. And now that maybe the world now, Pluto's forcing you in the world to go and be like, they just handed you a stage, just be like, hey, how do you feel? And then give you the mic, and you're like, oh shit, people act. And then you go and tell how you feel, and everybody starts laughing at you. They're like, look at this bitch ass thing. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Why are you crying? That's what everybody's gonna be laughing at you. Like, see that energy really being out there, where people with Mercury in Cancer talking about how we feel, but a lot of people don't utilize that energy in terms of pinning down their thoughts to their emotions, because your emotions are triggered by certain thoughts. It's like your mentalities are the spaceship, and then your the feelings that you get was your destination that you had used your mentalities to go and make you travel towards. So we don't use those stay aware of those transits enough to realize, to make that link, that that thought is what made us feel like these things. So a lot of the time when Mercury and Cancer, you just sound flunked out talking, but Pluto and Capricorn would iron that out. It's like, how much integrity is there? It'd be like, I'm mad about this, that, and the third. Pluto and Capricorn's like, bro, you didn't even clean up. Didn't you say that this person should do this? If you had cleaned up, you didn't even clean up. And then Cancer's like, oh yeah, well, I guess I should have cleaned. And you didn't even do that. Didn't you say you was gonna do that? And like, yeah, I did say I was. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be as mad. It's like that type of confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what Mercury and Cancers may also making a trine with the South Node and Scorpio, and Neptune and Juno and Pisces. How do you think that's
Oh,
gonna
so
play out?
that as Pluto integrity is comforting the way you're thinking and the way you're communicating about your emotions and your home and your domestic issues and things of that nature. Uh, you're having opportunities created for you to detox out of your toxic ways of initiating certain feelings or emotions when it comes to what you're thinking about. So you detoxifying your way of thinking, but also developing a higher way of approaching the way you think about your thoughts. So you don't become too aggressive about your thoughts. So you don't have to always cry. You develop a higher sense of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge while detoxifying, and you're having integrity at the same time. Like very powerful, like very life
Mm-hmm.
changing.
Mm-hmm.
And like
For sure.
Juno, they're adding Juno deals with marriage union. So it adds the whole marriage union to your dreams and your illusion and imagination, really giving you the opportunity to marry and choose your dreams and illusions and have a sense of integrity too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially with Neptune in the master degrees now, like, I think we all know and are aware of the power behind dreams and illusions.
Mm.
We all know that. Everybody thinks the other side is flunked out, and their vision or their dreams and influences are pure. So it's like we're at that master degree where we're using this Piscean energy. We're using this delusional energy at a high degree. So it's like there's that real potential for us to take that energy and master it, or make it beneficial to us.
Yeah, like we need it since Uranus is destroying this physical world and Pluto's right there. So you can see how we need new material from up there to bring down here, so we could create new stuff here.
Pisces is like, I got that. I got that.
Create something out of nothing. Ooh.
And then Venus is a conjunct Lilith, retrograding in Cancer.
Yeah, so that's gonna be as our heart is opening up from the area of just thinking about relationship. We're thinking about connecting on a much more deeper level, but also maybe indulging in emotion. Venus in Cancer, it's like a heavy indulging in emotion, which I think it plays out as emotional eating. A lot of people, water signs, earth signs, they suffer from emotional eating, specifically water signs. Cancers, heavy emotional eaters, and things of that nature. So Venus conjuncting Lilith
Yeah.
retrograde, that as you're opening your heart, you're remembering an embarrassing moment about something you said, something happened to you in the past. Like as you're opening up, you may want to contract back in, but like you have no choice because Lilith is retrograding, allowing you to see these embarrassing moments as Venus is moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like
Mm-hmm.
Eve meeting Lilith in the Garden of Eden.
And maybe, and maybe if Eve meets Lilith in the maybe in the garden, maybe now Venus in Cancer. Maybe she'll be more smart about how she starts her family now. You had a little flash how the story could go. It's like, oh, maybe I should, you know, exchange my energy or start a proper family. Start thinking about home and
Mm.
environment a little better. I'm open to being this vulnerable because I see where it can lead.
Yeah.
So that's what Monday's looking like on Tuesday, the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
The the moon is in the later degrees of Aries, making it in conjunction to the south node. How do you think this is gonna hit us?
So as we're feeling selfish about our emotion, want to initiate our new way, our own way of seeing and feeling about things, we're having a little bit difficulties about our deep passions and desires, which is the in conjunction between the first house and the eighth house, because Aries go off of the first feeling, while Scorpio they want to take their time and meditate on whatever passion and desire they want to go after. They're much more selective with their passion and desire as opposed to Aries. Like Aries will utilize the
Mm-hmm.
Martian energy in a very hoish way, where Scorpio is gonna be a little bit different, much more conservative with it.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna wait and fantasize about it, and then catch you when your guard is down, and then capture you, and then fulfill their fantasy, and then kill you after, so you don't tell anybody. That's a Scorpio, dude. Okay, and then Mercury and Leo opposite Pluto. So more Mercury moving a little bit forward and more embracing the Leo energy, and while it's doing that opposition with Pluto and Capricorn.
Yeah, it's just I would say watch out for that transition from Cancer to Leo, because it plays out through people as highly emotional. If you see anybody with heavy Cancer Leo energy, you will always see it highly emotional, highly wanting to connect with everybody, self-centered, everything and shit like that. So you wanna definitely
Yeah,
watch out for that. Like what you gonna say, because Pluto's always on your ass.
that's facts. That's facts. I could even see it being like, Pluto and Capricorn. It's a little bit, it's like everybody's on a podium, and it's a professional podium. This is where we hear what's going on, the news or whatever. And then Mercury just goes up to the podium, didn't wait in line, it just went up and said some shit. And then, everybody's just like, yo, what? Sometimes it was a good idea with Mercury and Leo, and they had skipped the whole process. And even though it seemed brazen, we can't deny the light that is being seen. And then sometimes everybody should just shut your ass up and get at the back of the line. Stop talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And looking at, and that's Tuesday. Looking at Wednesday, the 20th, the moon is moving into Taurus, making a conjunction with Mars in Taurus. How do you think this is going to play out?
So the moon exalted in Taurus, making us emotionally react heavy towards what we like in terms of material wise. Then conjuncting Mars, Mars debilitated in Taurus, having a lack of energy. It feels like it has to grind hard. Mars, Moon in Taurus is gonna remind give it that like emotional energy and that fulfillment to go after those physical things since Mars is so far away from its home ruler Scorpio. And I feel like Mars has an easier time having passion and desires for water-like things because they're much more lighter in existence. It's easier to have than physical dense things where you have to work hard for and grind for. So the moon is remind you, telling you, remember how you feel about those all those things you like, you love. That's gonna make you feel stable. Now go grind after them. You might even feel emotionally aggressive to go after them, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. It helps you rekindle that internal flame that Mars is, struggling to keep afloat in Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. How big we allowed our spark to get with Mars and Aries is how we are lighting, the fire pit. How much it's catching and utilizing the fuel that is there,
Yeah.
and the moons there come in, adding that help, just like what you were saying, for sure. I could also see, maybe the moon kind of gets reckless because it's like the moon's exalted, so it's kind of like it's going in a happy wild place where it can get carried away, and then the Mars is debilitated. So I don't know. Maybe the moon can go upside Mars's head a little bit, and then Mars normally wouldn't have just allowed it, but Mars is all days and it doesn't know what to do. So maybe and with Taurus is how a lot of their negative traits play out. I think is them holding on to what's tried and true, or what they already have, or the old,
Mm-hmm.
and not allowing newness to go into their life or to build, or not believing that they're worth more. They're so grabbing at what they have now that they don't believe that they are worth more. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe the moon going over Mars can make you emotionally respond to what you already have, and that need for security that you may not give your passions the respect that they need, or give your energy into grinding to build something that could be better for yourself. So don't let yourself get into those mentalities.
Mm-hmm.
Squaring the moon in Taurus, squaring Mercury in the early degrees of Leo. How do you think that's gonna hit?
So as it's almost like we're getting more courage and energy to speak up, but then our emotions is getting trying to get associated to the earth, trying to get comfortable, remind you about food and things of that nature. While Mercury's telling you, hey, we gotta communicate, we got this thing we want to say on the stage, but the moon is making it too comfortable to go on. So you gotta like really figure out, do I want to say comfortable and my emotional feelings, or I want to go communicate. You don't learn how to bring those two together, your thoughts and your
Mm-hmm.
emotions. You want to go communicate on the stage about things dealing with this new stability. You're asking Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you will control that square.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna show you new ways to how to balance both of those energies. How, yeah, if you can't do it simultaneously, or the situation doesn't seem like you could do it at the same time, it's one or the other. Know which percentage level that you can work with, and while playing on that spectrum, that axis, you'll have the learning experience that is needed for you to see what amount of energy of what can allow you to balance those things.
Yeah, but like, if you have nothing to communicate about that's about values and stability, and you way to go about it, man, you feel like you're embarrassed or you have nothing to talk about. Especially with the Pluto opposing Mercury and Leo, man, you feel embarrassed.
Yep, yep, yep. That's facts. Moon in Venus, Moon and Taurus is making a sextile with Venus in Cancer. How do you think that's gonna play out?
That's powerful. As we're emotionally focused on stability, our love matter is moved from a place of logic into a much more place of feelings and connecting. So, what we want to emotionally connect to and feel bring home is what we want to stabilize, what we want to create a situation where we could live inside, almost like loving home. Uh, like Cancer and Taurus create
Hmm.
like amazing energy to create a home, family, and things of that nature.
Hmm. A stable environment for growth. Real growth can happen there. With Cancer, it provides the nurturing environment, and then Taurus is the ground, the resources that can be utilized to make the thing grow.
Exactly.
So you're right on that nurturing energy, and then it's creating opportunity. So you could probably see a real opportunity for something real to grow on Wednesday, for something real that's not that you can attach your emotions to without being flunked out, without having to sacrifice the real, it's
Mm-hmm.
something that is tangible that you can emotionally respond to, that doubles up that power, and now you're seeing opportunities laying out in front of you.
Exactly.
And then Mercury in Leo's making a trine with Jupiter in Aries. How do you think this is going to play out?
So while our mind is thinking about expressing what's on our heart, our inner light, it's getting opportunity, a direct link with our third eye, our mind, opening up how we see and initiate new ways of seeing and uh, create like visions and imagine things of that nature. This is like Mercury trying Jupiter in Aries. This is a direct link between the way we think and our mind. So right now we could speak what's on our heart and our mind at the same time.
What's on our heart and what's on our mind at the same time. I see that. Yeah, for sure. And just like what you were saying before, we're with these alignments coming up, I definitely do see more confidence in our speech, more more bravery, especially to say new things, maybe even backed by Jupiter and Aries, giving us more broader visions of what can be. Now when Mercury and Leo's, making that trine, and we're talking about how we see things, and now we have this expanded vision. I can see how people can fuck with that, and Pluto and Capricorn's there, more of the collective energies may be looking at it like, we don't know if this can be something, but it's prime for us to be thinking about something new, and broadening into something new, being courageous enough to talk about new things too, new
Mm-hmm.
ways of seeing things.
But definitely courageous to say the
So
wrong things too.
that's for sure. That's for sure. And then all of the earth energy is gonna be roasting your ass. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Thursday, the 21st, moon in Taurus is making a conjunction with Uranus and the North Node. Uh, how do you think this is gonna hit?
So we're emotionally reacting, reflecting the energy of being fixating on our stability, while conjuncting Uranus and Taurus being a reminder of our lack of stability, what we need to build on, while we're having the whole opposition to South Node in Scorpio, reminding us of what we need to detoxify from emotionally, the vulnerabilities that prevent us from moving forward when it comes to whatever we're building here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And even having passed Mars and that stuff, I feel like Mars and Uranus have a special relationship. I feel like when they get together, they really fuck shit up. They really change some shit. Aries goes and breaks things, and Uranus goes and shakes things up. So there's a lot of change. So with Moon and Taurus, I feel like it can help, guide a lot of this change, or show
Mm.
us where the reminding us of our the emotions that we feel towards stability.
Oh yeah.
And while these things are volatile and changing, reminding us of how we feel about these things, and how we want to feel. what stability actually feels like. So when it's going over Mars or Uranus, you kind of feel a little bit more if your passion and aggressions or the change or rebellious type energy you're diving into, if it's actually leading towards you feeling stable.
Oh, so the moon is like giving us a cooling effect before the hotness of Mars and Uranus come in. I see. I see.
Mm-hmm. 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 It's like the kids are running around and the mom comes and kisses them on the forehead, just a little quick. But then yeah. And then Venus, oh that's opposite the south node in Scorpio. And then Venus in Cancer is making a square with Jupiter in Aries.
Mm.
How do you think that's gonna hit us?
So it's gonna be a battle between what we want to expand and when it comes to our own visions and our imagination, what we want to initiate versus what our heart wants to be directed to emotionally. Our heart is focused on comfort and home, while our mind, our higher mind, Jupiter, is focused on our passion and desires. So it's like a battle of learning between our love matters and like our like what we need to learn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Immediate gratification and the long term goal too, where you'll start seeing more conflict along those lines because Venus is a little bit more into is more personal, and then it's looking for comfort. That's what it wants. But then Jupiter is more long term, and then it's telling you to broaden your visions, your horizons. It's like trying to reinvigorate you. So right now, so that's where those you can see that square really coming into each other. Where when you pander into Venus and Cancer a little bit more, trying to feel comfortable, you may neglect the Jupiter and Aries. You expanding your faith in yourself, and you broadening the horizons of the possibilities that you have for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then vice versa, you can try and expand this vision that you have of yourself. I believe in me, I believe in me, but you're not exchanging the appropriate amount of energy to build some type of comforting situation, because we were just when we were talking about Cancer, it's nurturing too, it's healing, there's properties there.
Yeah.
That's why home is there. Aries can go out for battle, but then it needs a home to come and heal its wounds and stuff like that, so you don't want to be burning those bridges or go out too far, and then you get you don't have the home to go and nurture your wounds so that you can go back out there and continue going broader. You didn't set your bed in Minecraft, so now you went out exploring and shit. Then you went and died, and now you have no respawn point. So that's Thursday. Friday, the 22nd, we have the moon on the cusp of Gemini, starting to make a sextile with the sun, which is now in Leo.
So we're gonna be
Leo season.
yeah. Oh shit. So as we're approaching Leo season, as we're gonna learn how to express ourselves, learn how to focus on what we entertain, what we like to express, the stage, fun, children. When I say children, I'm talking about like your thoughts and ideas. You could view these things as your children. So I feel like what Leo's about, they have a lot of children's all the way to the point it might play out
Yeah.
physically to that point. So the moon in Taurus, right now cusping Gemini, is allowing us to react to, uh, communicate about fixated stability as we're approaching the air to express who we are, express our passion and desires.
Exactly. While we were emotionally responding to what's real and what's providing us stability and reminding us that passing over all those planets, going into Gemini, and now we're starting to be hit with these thoughts that are inflicting our emotions, which is really setting the stage, or giving us material, giving us the words, and the mentalities to go and express onto this stage, to go and now and express these values that we are developing on stage. to go and creatively express the thoughts that you emotionally respond to.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mercury is in Leo, squaring Mars and Taurus. So how do you think that's playing out?
This is basically as our mind is getting the confidence to speak about our passions, which we like to have visions about. Our Mars, our passionate desires, is still working very hard and may not have everything updated the way Mercury is talking about it. Because Mercury right now sounds very flashy, it being in Leo and things of that nature. While Mars is taking its time, being very tolerant, conservative, hardworking, is learning like real virtues and principle. While Mercury might go too
Mm.
far ahead of its own head and say the wrong things. Yeah, but yeah,
Mm.
and that's crazy gonna make you like learn the separation between your mind and where your action is right now.
Yep. Mercury and Leo is having you say, I got 10 Glocks at home. Y'all niggas don't want to mess with me. And then Mars and Taurus is like, you haven't even put together the guns yet. Nigga, they still laying out in pieces. You didn't even go and buy bullets yet, but you here talking about all the Glocks that you have that you ain't even put together yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the square comes in. When the niggas be like, all right, then bring them out. And then you're like, oh shit, how do I put how do I put these together? Oh shit, where was the instructions? Oh, and then y'all flunked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's Friday.
Yeah.
Saturday, on the 23rd, the moon moving later into Gemini, making a sextile with Jupiter and Aries.
So all these things were emotionally focused on building while the moon is in Taurus is now moving to the area dealing with communication, analyzation, which are allowing us to see the opportunity of what Jupiter wants us to learn when it comes to this journey to go after this vision and imagination that we're desiring. But also it's sextiling um, the sun in Leo. So that's a direct link. The moon, because we're feeling what's on our lungs, we could speak up, but we could see what's on our head. While the sun is in, what we can see what's on our heart. So this is like very powerful. This is you connecting your mind, your heart, and things of that nature.
Yeah, this is really giving us the ability to really emotionally connect with the words that we are saying while we are on the stage that Leo was setting for us. And then now that we have these words that we can emotionally connect to, now it's can allowing people, it's giving the opportunity for people to see our broad vision, you know, and to see how much faith that we could have on ourselves, or what we can really expand into if we really gave it our passions. We really got passionate about it and started it, gave birth to these ideas. People are the stage is really set for that, and you will find that your words are communicating your emotions a little bit better. And then with the moon and Gemini, it can help you stay distant too.
Mm.
And fire energy, the fire energy helps you just express yourself. And then water and earth, you know, you start questioning, oh, was it proud? You know, and the same thing with air a little bit. But Gemini, you know, is kind of that interpersonal, or kind of, you know, more mutable type thing. So it help you, you know, say the words without thinking too much of emotionally the reaction of things, which allows for better flow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how Saturday's looking. Um, Looking at Sunday, the moon being in the later degrees of Gemini, in conjuncting the South Node in Scorpio. How do you
Whoa.
think that's going to?
Wow. So coming from the moon in Taurus, where we're emotionally connected with our fixated material things, and now we're communicating, analyzing them, and now we see the opportunity to communicate about what we like to entertain and have fun, our visions and imagination. The sextile with Jupiter in Aries and the Sun in Leo. That in conjunction in South Node Scorpio is gonna see, uh, do you have what it takes to be on the stage? It's gonna expose your secrets, if you will. The South Node in conjunction, essentially, because you're gonna have all this fire, all this flame, all these vision, imagination to cover yourself. But when this, you see that in conjunction with the South Node, it's gonna hit you in such a blind spot. You're gonna see like you may have you have nothing. It might be just an empty flame.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm.
And
I would describe it as you might think like the Uchihas, their entire their favorite jutsu is the fireball jutsu, but you don't know about Amaterasu. You don't know
exactly.
about the
There's a
black
whole nother
flames.
level to it,
Mm,
and those flames can't be put out. You
exactly.
know, and that's for sure. That's for sure. And I feel you on that. Gemini will have you, Moon and Gemini will have you quickly give out some emotional information that maybe you did not want to have shared, or you didn't know that could be used against you, or later on down the line, or points at some of those insecurities that you have fixated up with that Scorpio energy at your core with the South Node, and you kind of have to deal with that vulnerability. Just because, like what I was saying, Gemini's not really thinking about or reflecting about it like that. So that's why it's putting you in that new position to deal with that insecurity, and maybe even face on how your insecurities and how your deeper emotions that you're fixating on are holding you back, that are holding you back from that stage, that are holding you back from expressing yourself as fully as it is. And maybe it's something that you are hiding, maybe not necessarily something that you're attaching yourself to, even though it's from your past. You keep on mentioning it and attaching yourself to it, even though it's in the past. And South Northern Scorpio is telling you that you need to, die, resurrect that, and become a phoenix. Bring it into a higher place. Bring those lower natures and transform them to see the real power that they can be. Bring that sexual energy up, back up the kundalini. What is that nigga, that plasma boy nigga calls it, nutting up the spine. Follow plasma boy. That nigga's funny. That's a funny ass nigga.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, he calls nuts up the spine.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to start running from all of that energy. And you know what's interesting? That's Kundalini energy. But we just have different words for it and shit like that. But a lot of people who do Kundalini meditation or go through that talk about the sexual energy. When a lot of release comes through those types of meditations and experiences, a lot of people talk like they felt like they were having sex with God, like union type thing. And this is the nature of sex. And a lot of people, maybe they weren't too open, or they still had some blocks in the channel. Some people felt raped by God. And they're like, no, stop touching me. Stop. Let me put it down, back down.
Mm-hmm.
And they felt like they were being raped, like they were violated. So it's like that in a sense. That's why that area needs to be cleansed. Why we have to release that energy. So if you get something pained in those vulnerabilities, no, you have to sit with Scorpio energy for a little bit. You have to sit with it and deal with it, so it's not scary anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's death. Sitting and think about death and understand the realms of reality of death and sex and how they all connect with each other. You have to sit with that a little bit.
Because you're gonna be dying for a while.
You're gonna be fucking, and then you're gonna be dying, and then you're gonna be fucking, and then you're gonna be dying, and you're gonna be dying when you're fucking, and you're gonna come back, and then you're gonna fuck them a little bit more. The one thing that stays consistent through all generations, this generation or this lifetime, you're using cell phones. 1,000 years ago, your bitch ass was writing gossip in cuneiform. 1,000 years ago, your bitch ass is gonna be gossiping about some neck shit and some holographs. But the one thing that stayed consistent was the gossiping and the fucking. That's one thing that stayed 100% consistent.
Bro, the so fitting for Gemini, the moon in Gemini in conjunction the South Node in Scorpio.
That's true. That's true. And then the moon in the late degrees of Gemini is squaring Neptune and being retrograde in Pisces. How do you think this is gonna hit?
So like this is just more reminders about like what our subconscious mind trying to communicate with us, and the retrograde is allowing us to go, it's allowing our subconscious mind to go back and feeding us those extra intuitive messages that we may need. But around the moon and being in Gemini, we're very logical. We don't give a fuck about no dreams or losing imagination, giving meaning and reason to things. Pure logic. I want to see the facts, the information. I want to read it and things of that nature. So you want to definitely like learn and just be intuitive with subconscious mind while trying to be obviously logical communicative. Yeah.
yeah, you may be trying to um be too surface level, or be too logical with what an emotion reveals, and and you try and be too logical with it, or don't peep that the mental or thought processes that had came from that emotion. You just write it as those thoughts, or you just write it as that, but you not maybe not peeping that it could be a deeper influence energy that's connected to everything, that you should really be paying attention to. You're like, nah, and then something else comes up. That's what Moon and Gemini too. Moon and Gemini, you can see the most profound thing, and with the emotion and connected to the thought, and then you have this profound holistic understanding, and then something else walks by you, and you're like, oh shit, what's that? And then you start attaching feelings and emotions to that, quickly getting distracted by that type of energy. Mutable in general is like that.
Yeah.
So that square,
Uh,
that connection to those mental patterns and your subconscious influence is made really slip through your fingers if you're not paying attention.
exactly.
Sun in Leo
Where you
shrining
where you talked about
Jupiter.
that?
Kind of already did talk about that energy, eh?
Yeah. Oh, that's,
Yeah. So that that's the week. That's how the week is looking, guys. I hope you fuck with the horoscope. Give us a like and follow. Check us out on Instagram, TrueSpace_. Check out our website, TrueSpace.biz, and hit us up for some services. We'll be down to serve you. Your esoteric lawyers. And yeah, guys, peace out. Have a nice week.
Take care.